Hey everybody, welcome into this week's episode of the Matt Report. Huge week of wrestling as we're wrapping up the regular season, and we kind of had a run of good tournaments this week. Last night with the Lorain County League tournament out at Keystone, the host Wildcats had a big night. They went undefeated in dual meets this regular season, and they had a solid performance at the conference tournament. 5 champions, 12 placers, kind of led by the seniors at the top end of the weight class. Nick Hickman and Luke Moore both won their third conference championship. Last 2 years in the LCL, and then the sophomores they won in the Patriot Athletic Conference. So congrats to those two guys for big performances. But great up and down the line there at the Lorain County League. A lot of big performances, and we're going to get into a little bit more. But since we're in the LCL already, that tournament, that's going to push us right into our sponsored segment this week. So we're going to go to the top 3 performances. This is going to be the top 3 performers of the week, and this segment is brought to you by Century 21 Deanna Realty. We're going to start with Cale Saxton, senior out at Avon. Cale went 7-0 this week, and 4 of the 7 matches were against state-ranked guys. So really, really good performance by Cale. Starting with North Olmsted's Marty Showman, he beat him 17-2, a technical fall. Marty's ranked number 17th in the state. Then on to Marion Pleasant's Skylar Wolf, ranked 33rd in the state. Cale beat him 16-0, another technical fall, and then matched it with another 16-0 technical fall against Ashtabula St. John's Tyler Cathcart, who's ranked number 34. And then he wrapped it all up with a close 5-4 1-point decision win over Oregon Clay's Mike Daly, who's ranked number 7 in the state. So really, really solid week for Cale Saxton as he's heading into his final postseason of his high school career. Our number 2 performer, Tristan Green, Keystone freshman. Tristan went 9-0 last week. Started with 2 wins in a try against Lakewood and Cuyahoga Heights on Thursday night. Then won 5 matches at the Independence Duels on Saturday. And he wrapped it up with a pair of wins at the Lorain County League tournament, which we had mentioned earlier. He finished with an 8-4 decision over Wellington's Jeremiah McKee, who was a Division III state qualifier last year. So just a great wrap to Tristan Green's freshman regular season. So he's ready to go for the postseason. And our third top performer, Kevin Williams from Firelands, another freshman. Kevin won the 126-pound title at the Lorain County League tournament last night. He pinned number 2 seed Sherrod Bullard of Clearview in the semifinals, and then he pinned the top seed Josh Hickman of Columbia in the final. So Kevin Williams with a really double upset win there to win the title. Looking really good for his freshman season as he's going into the postseason as well. So again, our top 3 performers of the week are Cale Saxton, Avon senior, Tristan Green, Keystone freshman, and Kevin Williams, Firelands freshman. And that again is brought to you by Century 21 Deanna Realty. All right, back on to the regular content for the Coas Assurance Classic Matt Report. We'll go back into that LCL, talk about some of the other guys who won championships. Like I said, it was all local, so they're all local champs. Cole Schulke from Columbia is having another great season as a sophomore. Won the 106-pound title. Ruben Pina Lorenzana, a sophomore from Firelands, won his second straight LCL championship. He bumped up from 106 to 113 to take that 113-pound title. Devin Mayer with a couple big upset wins at 120, takes the 120-pound title. He knocked off top seed Eric Sadler of Brookside in the semifinals and beat Wade Bowman of Wellington in the championship match. We mentioned Kevin Williams at 126 pounds. Kevin actually kickstarted a run of 3 freshmen winning conference championships there in the LCL. After Kevin won at 126, Tristan Green of Keystone, we also mentioned, won the 132-pound title. And then Caden King, another Firelands freshman, won at 138 pounds. So freshmen kind of showing their might there at the LCL. At 145, Hunter Yaples of Black River, and jump ahead at 182, Charlie Wells of Black River. Both those Black River wrestlers won their second straight LCL title. So strong performance there for the Pirates. Then Derek Andelsek of Wellington with an upset win over Brandon Rolland, who was the top seed at 152 pounds. Derek won for Wellington there. We mentioned Ryan Healy won at 160 for Keystone. David Fitzpatrick, Clearview senior, won at 170. Heard him after the match say that was his first tournament championship in his high school career. So better late than never. He was pretty excited about that. Good win for him. And then wrapping it up, Hayden Garrow of Columbia won at 195. And Nick Hickman and Luke Moore, which we mentioned, the two Keystone seniors, won at 220 and 285. Luke Moore beating Travis Owen of Black River, handing Travis his first loss of the season. Owen had beat him previously in the Lorain County League dual meet during the regular season. So a little revenge win for Luke Moore. And then Nick Hickman only had to wrestle one. They only had three wrestlers at 220. Only had to wrestle in the final to win, and then was immediately named the league's outstanding wrestler for the season, as he is still undefeated at 220 or 195. I think he's been wrestling at both weights. So a really good Lorain County League tournament all around. Just run through some of the other quick performances. Lorain back on the mats finally. Had matchups against Parma. They lost 45-30. Came back and won against North Ridgeville 36-30. That one was tied 30-all heading into the heavyweight. And Santana Sanchez, their heavyweight, gets a pin to secure that win over North Ridgeville. So good job there for Santana Sanchez, Lorain heavyweight. Vermilion had a handful of duels this week. Lost a 1-point duel against Firelands. They're one of their biggest rivals for that Stillman Cup. As everybody knows, that goes every sport. Every time those two schools meet, the Stillman Cup changes hands. So it's back at Firelands, with Firelands getting a 37-36 win. Vermilion then lost to Gibsonburg 33-24, and then rallied to beat Northwood 60-6. So big win there. Midview had a tough week. He says they're, Sean Bristow says they're definitely trying to fill the lineup over there at Midview, and they lost 3 duels against Bay Olmsted Falls and Paynesville Harvey, and then had a tough performance at Strongsville duels this weekend. Although Devin Vandal did go 2-2 and take 4th place, finish on the podium there, so good job for him. But they're just trying to get everybody healthy and ready for the sectional, which they will host in a couple weekends. And then a couple other things here. Amherst beat Lutheran West 60-22 in their lone duel this week. Keystone, as we mentioned, they were busy this week. Thursday night, they had a couple of wins against Lakewood and Cuyahoga Heights. Saturday, they went to the Independence duels and had 5 matches there, beating Twinsburg, Coventry, and Berkshire before losing to Mentor and Dover. And then, of course, they won the LCL last night. And then Avon went to the Oregon Clay duels out there in Northwest area. Had some good matchups there. They first they beat Avon Lake and North Olmsted in a SWC tri-meet. Then they lost to Galleon in Ontario and Marion Pleasant. Then they beat Ashtabula St. John before losing to the host Oregon Clay Eagles. And again, we mentioned Cale Saxton, but Mason Fitch and Ethan Sear both went 7-0 this week as well. So great performances there. The only other thing from this week that I really was talking about was the Elyria at the Ohio High School Wrestling Coaches Association. They had their dual meet state tournament out at St. Edward. Elyria was the number 5 seed, an underdog going in the first round. They met Dublin Kaufman, the number 4 seed, in the quarterfinals. Tough loss for Elyria there. They lost 51-15. And then they got a consolation match against Maryville, where they lost 46-29. They were upset. The 3 wrestlers were able to go 2-0 in that event. Nate Burnett, Enrique Munguia, and Jake Evans all won both their matches, so strong performance there. So, yeah, definitely a nice performance there for Elyria. Okay. And then we're pretty much wrapping up the regular season this week. So we've got some duels that everybody are kind of wrapping up. Some SWC has some wrap-ups. We have some other things. It's all going to culminate regular season-wise in the Lake Erie League tournament at Maple Heights on Saturday. And at the same time, we're going to start the postseason because the girls are going to have their district tournament out at Lutheran West. That's going to kind of kickstart the postseason. Next weekend, the girls' state tournament will be at Hilliard-Davidson. It'll be a Saturday, Sunday event. And then after that, sectionals, districts, and state. And as we've told everybody, the postseason looks a little different this year as the sectionals. Teams actually got to kind of draft into the sectionals. They got to pick which sectionals they wanted to compete at. Although locally, most of our local teams are going to be at their normal sectionals, D1 at Midview, D2 at Bay, other than Vermilion, who will be at Sandusky. D3 out at Independence. Then the district tournaments are also going to look a little different as they're doing kind of a split, like they're splitting up the weight classes. They're going to have two sessions, first 7 weight classes, then the last 7 weight classes, and they'll clear the gym in between. Again, all in a effort to kind of slow the spread of the coronavirus and not have a bunch of people kind of intermingling in the gyms. And then, as we mentioned before, the state tournaments will be split in 3 locations. The Ohio High School Athletic Association has still not kind of revealed where those locations are going to be. As soon as they green light them, I will tweet that information out so that everybody knows where the Division I, Division II, and Division III state tournaments will be. It should be in 3 probably sizable high schools. They're going to try to be as close to Central Ohio as possible for the schools to all be able to get to as far as the same distance goes. So that'll probably wrap it up for this week's Matt Report. I appreciate it. Like I said, we had a lot of good info this week, a lot of good stuff going on. Have a lot of good stuff coming forward. So next week we'll get to it and kind of preview maybe some of the postseason and talk about these last few events of the regular season. So until then, thank you again for checking in here with the Matt Report, brought to you by Covis Insurance Center, your Grange independent agent. And thank you to Kristen behind the camera and to WL for setting up this show. And we will see you next week.